What's love, everybody? Just finished another episode of Before the 90 Days, episode 4. And with me, as always, is LA. How's it going?
It's pretty good, pretty good. So, what's love, BB?
Oh, what's love? Well, what's love for me? I'm going to say summer. We finally hit our first day of summer, and it's been really nice here. And, yeah, that's filling me with love.
All right. I'm also filled with love because of the summer. My favorite season.
So we're gonna jump in right away. We just finished the episode of Before the 90 Days. Also, we're gonna be going over Love is Paradise later, and we're gonna be making our predictions for that. We finally caught up with that. We'll have a recap coming out for that pretty soon. But Before the 90 Days, what'd you think of the episode?
I actually enjoyed this episode. I felt like the timing was good. It didn't drag too much and things happened. So, yeah, let's jump into it.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. And who do we got first? We got Amanda
and Razvan.
I gotta be honest. These couples, I guess it's more Amanda than him. They're starting to tire me out a little bit. I guess it's her standoffish attitude with him. Like, he's trying to be fun and friendly. And I guess I understand her trauma, but it's not fun to watch.
No, yeah, like, she just seems very uncomfortable, and that's been, every episode so far. She doesn't seem to, like, really enjoy being in the moment with him.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, she's a little draining. Again, we want to be sensitive to her situation, but at the same time, it's like, girl, you signed up for this show. Like, what are we doing? Yeah,
they've been in every episode. They've been in all 4 episodes, whereas one we haven't even met yet. One was just introduced this episode, and others have only been 3. And it's kind of been the same theme for all 4. So what happened this episode?
Nothing. She just for her, I mean, she was just more like, he took her to the park, she didn't like it. He took her to the market, she didn't like it. He's gonna be doing a music video. He asked if she wanted to be in it. Of course she didn't. So he's gonna have to act with another girl, and it's gonna be, some touchy-feely, possibly kissing, and she's not happy about it.
Now, he did ask her to be in the video, and she's, of course, said no, which I can't even imagine. She can't even loosen up just, for this show. How is she going to be in an actual music video?
Yeah. I didn't think I would like him. He seems like he really is trying. He seems like, he's trying to be fun-loving and make her laugh and stuff, and she's... I don't know. It just seems like she's not having it.
Right.
Which we figured. Like, she's obviously not ready to be jumping into a relationship after.
No, I think we're so focused on her that I don't feel like I've really gotten to know him. Yes, he seems he's an extrovert. He's always very outgoing and trying to get her to do fun things. But I don't think we know the core of what his motivations are. I mean, he always talks about he wants to be... an actor, musician, a star though, not just for a living. He wants to be Jean-Claude Van Damme or Arnold or Sylvester Stallone. That's what he said.
So there could be some ulterior motive here. Could be, it may not be genuine, is what you're saying.
May not be, but we have no idea, right?
Okay, all right.
We haven't gotten to know him. So now they're at the point where I guess they're about to do his music video, and that's where we left off with them, right?
Yes.
So I guess not a lot of movement in that area, but.
No.
All right, next up we got
Riley.
I do enjoy watching Riley and now Violet, but he just seems very down to earth. But he seems fun. But he also seems like he could have a little drama in him too. Yeah. So it makes it fun to watch. What happened this episode?
I also enjoy watching Riley. I enjoy his personality. I also enjoy watching Violet because she's sassy and confident. So he finally arrived in Vietnam.
Yes. So we have the test, right? The test whether they're going to love each other. So did they run to each other? Did they hug? Did they kiss? And what do we have with them?
All of it. They ran to each other. They hugged for a while. They laughed. I think they kissed. Yeah, he asked if he could kiss her, and she was fine with that. I felt chemistry between them.
They had the whole bet, like whoever touches the other one first, loses the bet, so then the other one has control. But of course, Violet has control. I think we knew Violet was going to have control. Like that was
Violet runs the show. She's the alpha here.
right. So yeah, they had a really nice meeting. They went back to the hotel, and then they let's see. They revealed that she's not going to stay in the hotel because that's not the custom of Vietnam.
Right, because they're not married. So, yeah, she's not going to stay. They went to dinner. He gave her a gift, which were some pearls. It seemed like a very nice gesture, but she said that she doesn't really like pearls.
She doesn't like pearls, and also that she said they have pearls everywhere there.
Right, it's very common there, so.
Right. And then she revealed, hey, what are we going to do? Oh, well, he was going to bring up some bad stuff, which is... Why are you doing that on your first night, right?
He was going to bring up some issues that he had, some concerns he had about the past, yes. And she was like, nope, let's not do that. Like, let's keep everything light, which I agreed with.
Right, so he's like, oh, okay, you want to keep it light tonight? What are you doing tomorrow then? So we can talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, and she was like, oh, tomorrow you just going to have to relax because I got stuff to do.
Right.
So you on your own, pretty much. Maybe I'll meet you for dinner.
I feel like she just made that up because she knows he's bringing up issues tomorrow, so now all of a sudden she's busy. He'll forget about it eventually.
I don't think that's it. I think she really did, like, have plans. So that's a bit concerning. That's a bit of a red flag if his first, like, actual day in Vietnam, which is very different for him, very new place, he's going to be on his own and she's not going to be around.
You come all the way across the country, and you have limited, across the world, you have limited time together, and the very first day, full day that you have, you're not going to spend time together? That's a little disconcerting.
So Riley is questioning whether or not Violet makes him a priority. So we'll see. How the trip unfolds, but I'm hopeful for these two because I really do feel like they have chemistry. I don't know her motive yet. It seems like it could be something shady going on, but I enjoy watching them.
Yeah, you know what? It had a. No, I am hopeful for. I'm hopeful for them as well. But you know what it reminded me of when she wasn't going to spend time with him was like, do you remember Sinjin from South? Well, he was in a few seasons, and Tanya.
Yes.
And he finally came over, and he's like, all right, I'm here. We're going to spend time together. What are we going to do? And she's like, oh, I got to go away for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's in a new country by himself.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm going on a retreat for 2 weeks, so you stay here.
You're right. So that was in the back of my mind when she was saying that. But yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Next up, we got David and Sheila, another airport reunion.
Yeah.
So, all right, the running to the hug, the kiss. Where do we stand there?
I think she ran to him.
She ran fast to him.
Yeah, like they could not wait to see each other, and they just had like a genuine embrace. Like they both cried. It was sweet to watch.
Yeah, no,
I feel like these two like genuinely love and care about each other, so that's always good to see.
This was one of the most loving reunions. Well, I guess introductions. It's not even a reunion that I think we've seen. Airport greetings that we've ever seen. So these two definitely seem like they had something going on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if anything else happened. I guess she told her son beforehand that I'm going to stay with David a couple days, then I'll bring him back because he wanted to go. Did anything happen after the airport?
I don't think so. I think that was it.
Yeah, I don't think it did. So this was just, I guess we just got a real quick look at these two. So that's all we got to say about David, but I think I have a feeling next week we're going to get a lot more with them. So next up, we got a new one.
Yes. What's his name?
Christian.
Hey, Christian.
Christian is an extrovert. We're just meeting him for the first time in episode 4. We saw him with his friends and at a party, and he just seems like he's really outgoing. He was dressed up like not Ron Burgundy, but somebody like Ron Burgundy. Mm-hmm. And he is dating Cleo, who's from London.
Yes, she's autistic and she is a trans woman.
Correct. And Christian has never dated a trans woman. And he says that he is, his words, straight AF. So of course his friends were questioning him on that, right?
Yeah, they were like, how do you think you're gonna feel being with a trans person? And He didn't quite answer. He said it was a little uncomfortable for him. So we'll see how that unfolds. I'm interested to see, whether they have chemistry and whether or not they could actually have a genuine relationship.
Right, and of course Cleo is concerned that once they're together he won't accept her the way he says he will. So, and he's somebody who has said that he often falls in love or gets girlfriends and then they're gone. So
right, he falls in and out of love. He gets all whooped up into the hoopla of love and not necessarily the core of the person. So we'll see.
Hoopla, you say? Okay, well then next up we got Meisha and Nicola. Was this another airport greeting? Do we have 3 airport greetings?
They did meet each other in the airport today.
Oh, so we weren't really sure if they were going to kiss because we were like, will he do that? Is he going to be affectionate? And he didn't have a choice. She grabbed his head and...
Yeah, she kissed him like 16 times.
You're right. And he seemed to like it, but he definitely did not initiate.
I didn't like watching it. I don't know what it is. Like some couples, I'm just like, it makes me cringe when I watch them kissing stuff.
Well, the most cringeworthy one ever was last week with Gino and Jasmine.
Yeah.
But this was a first time kiss. Yeah, I mean, honestly, their whole relationship's a little cringy.
I can't even say why. I don't feel the chemistry, I guess. Maybe that's it. Like with Riley and Violet, I could watch them and it was no
Sheila
problem.
Sheila
and David, right. It just felt natural. It was like, I can watch them be lovey-dovey. But with these two, it just kind of, I'm like, I don't want to watch.
Well, she seemed like she is potentially a warm person.
Yeah.
But the thing is the thing with him is obviously he's very religious, and that is the biggest part of his life, right? And which appeals to her because she's born again, and now that's a pretty big part of her life. But she does have other things going on, right? She obviously, when you saw her in her hotel room, she has all the clothes, and she loves fashion. She loves all those things. Whereas anything that happens with Nicola, like he will relate it to a Bible verse, which is fine because that's what they're into. But you also need that little well-rounded.
What is his life outside of the Bible?
Right, and it makes him come off a little bit cold.
Yeah.
To her. Of course, so they went and checked in a hotel where Israel, I don't believe, has the same conservative views as like we saw with Vietnam, where they couldn't be in the same room together. But he was very clear with the desk clerk when they checked in. He's like, "Oh, just so you know, it is 2 beds, right? Because she's gonna be my bride, but we're not married yet."
Yeah, he said a lot.
And the desk clerk's, okay, buddy.
Yeah, it's 2 beds.
Okay, I got you.
Down.
I got you. It's fine. We got what you wanted. Yeah, we split them in half. Yeah, so she came in with her 6 suitcases, filled up the room. I think he was a little overwhelmed. But
it was a lot of stuff. And the room was tiny, so she took everything out. Like, she had shoes here, shoes there, clothes all across the dresser. It was a lot. It was a little overwhelming. The room was small. So.
Yeah, the room was small, so we'll see what happens with you. So we had 3 different ones where they just met each other, so not a lot happened in the episode. I mean, I'm sure they will the next time, but it's more the greeting, which is they're usually happy at that moment, unless you're like Nicole Mahmoud, where they had that awful airport greeting. So we did have a comment I'm pulling up a comment from last week about Meisha and Nicola. Who's that from? You have better eyes than I do.
I don't know. Jay Nefante. Sorry if I'm not saying that right. I would never be with someone that would make all this demands, especially she's bringing him to the U.S. And on top of that, bring to my house if my child was uncomfortable with it.
So you did talk a lot about the daughters not being comfortable with him yet, and him, coming to the U.S. and moving in. So she's just reiterating, I guess, what you said there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a selfish decision for a parent to force their relationship onto children when they're not ready. Like, you got to kind of ease into it. They don't even know this guy, and he's supposed to be moving into their house. I feel like that's selfish.
Right. Yeah. Now, that wasn't touched upon this episode, but that's going to come up.
Right.
That's going to come up real soon. So, any other thoughts on Meisha and Nicola?
I'm about them, so no.
Yeah, I am interested to see what happens with them. I don't know if I enjoy watching their segments, but I am interested in their segments, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But somebody I'm interested in watching, I've become very interested in watching, and I actually enjoy, even though it's chaotic, is Gino and Jasmine. Before we talk about this episode, we had a lot of comments about Gino and Jasmine this past week and this past episode. But I pull up a couple. What do you got? Candace Dixon 6443. OMG, there's no way they are going to last. And I think that was just the general sentiment that they're not going to last.
Yeah, I mean, and how long? I mean, I'm surprised they've lasted this long. How long have they been together? It's been a long time, right?
2 years, she said. 2 years.
That's not as long as I thought.
From sugar baby dating site to I want a prenup. So it's very full circle there.
Entertaining to watch.
Whereas Monica Jones says Gino needs to tell her why he's really mad. So this was all about the argument with the
peeling of the potato.
He needs the proper equipment.
He did not.
The dumbest fight I think we've ever seen anywhere, but especially in 90 Day. But what he probably was really mad about was the whole money issue, because she just talked about, I live near the richest people, they're my neighbors, and then
he's paying for the $3,000 apartment. She wanted the hair extensions that were going to be how much? I don't even know.
Over $3,000, I think.
Over $3,000 for her hair, and I don't think that Gino is like a wealthy man where he can afford to, fund her lavish lifestyle that she's thinking about. So I don't know how she thinks this is supposed to happen.
No, well, she's just milking him dry for everything he has. She'll take all his retirement money. She doesn't care how he gets the money. Just get the money.
Right.
So, but that leads us into this episode. He got a nice night's sleep.
He got rest.
He said, I only got 3 hours sleep, and that was why he was so mad about the potato peel and the cutting board.
Said. I don't know if I believe that, but anyway, she was very happy. Like we opened the scene with her being very happy because they were intimate, which she always talks about. They're not intimate enough. She said he didn't finish because he gets tired and out of breath, which I couldn't help but to laugh. But yeah, it quickly turned to chaos from there. Yeah.
And hello to Rory Sr. We see your message there.
Hey, Rory Sr.
So the main focus on this episode is he wanted to bring up the prenup, right?
Yes.
And he finally had the courage to mention it, although he's mentioned it before, but I guess he was going to be more serious about it this time. He was going to hold his ground.
How you think that worked out?
Yeah. So when did he first bring it up? I don't
know. I must have been on a previous season.
No. I meant in this episode. He took her out to a public place so she couldn't cause too much of a scene, right?
They were at breakfast, and he's like, Jasmine, I want to talk about a prenup. And she goes, Gina, I will smash your face. Pretty much.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how you would expect it to go.
Yeah, that's how it went. So then they fought, and they pretty much didn't talk for the rest of the night because he brought up the prenup. They didn't even really get to talk about it. So the next day you see him outside, and he has a sheet of paper, and he's writing something all intently. And she comes out, and he's like, I want to talk to you because I wrote down a proposal.
He changed the name. He's like, let's call it a proposal, not a prenup.
Right. And she's pretty much like, listen, if you want a prenup, I am not going to marry you.
You met me on a sugar baby site, so what did you expect?
Right. So his little proposal was pretty much that, if he were to initiate the divorce, she would get, he said, the highest financial payout, whatever that means.
Right.
But if she were to initiate the divorce, she would only get a little bit unless there was cheating. involved unless he cheated on her or something stupid.
So I was just thinking, well, she would just set him up. She would set him up and have somebody, she would get him in some kind of compromising position with somebody, just take pictures and be like, look, you were cheating.
Yeah, so she ripped up the paper and threw it in his face, and he's like,
joke's on you.
I took a picture of it.
I have a picture of it anyway, Jasmine.
And then he pretty much, she just went off from there like, oh, my ex is so much better than you. My ex is better in bed, and I should have been with my ex. And
which makes no sense. Why aren't you with that person?
And he asked. He was like, well, why aren't you with your ex? And she was like, ha ha. And just walked away.
And who was that person? I think his name was Dane. If it wasn't Dane, I'm sorry, but I think it was.
Who's her neighbor?
Well, now it's her neighbor, but she dated him, and he's rich, and she said how good looking he was.
He's much better in bed.
He's really into me, but yeah, she didn't want to be with him because Gino has the fire. Remember?
Gino is. Both of them are psychopaths. Let's just keep watching.
Yeah. So that pretty much sums it up with I guess that's all of the ones that we covered today. Do we get everybody? Gino, Riley, Christian, David, Meisha. Yeah. So it was pretty much a I'm meeting you today episode. Okay. So we got a couple more comments from ones that weren't in the episode from last week. Let's see. We got a Ty Ray from L. Thomas. We get comments from them all the time. It's a sister's worried look for me. She was trying to lead him to sense by asking good questions. She didn't want to make him close back up again. So, yeah, no, she's definitely trying to put some sense into him. And
we're talking about Ty Ray.
Ty Ray from last week, yes.
Yeah, I'm over that.
Well, he wasn't in this one, but that was the comment I prepared. And then we had the announcement that The Other Way is coming back, I believe July 10th. Maybe you didn't tune in last week. We announced that. So we had a couple comments, and I can see why they chose Danielle now, because we had a lot of Danielle comments this
really?
week. Yeah, mostly on older videos, but who's this one from?
Art Lover.
Okay.
And this is about Danielle and Johan?
Yep.
I love them both. So sad they broke up now, present day.
So I don't know. They obviously didn't completely break up. They only technically broke up. They're technically together, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they broke up, I'm happy about that.
Yeah. I don't hear a lot of people that love them both, though. So that's why I pulled that one
Art
up.
Lover?
Yeah. You know what? I like that you're positive and you love, right? Or love whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually somebody takes one side or the other, or none.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they both kind of have their issues. And then we got Waiting for the Weekend said Danielle is clueless about how to find love. She thinks her spirit practice is going to help her. It's quite simple. Start with being respectful. Love without respect is nothing. And a lot of people talk about Danielle being very disrespectful to him. So I think that will continue in the other way. Do you agree with that?
She could be a bit demeaning. I do believe that.
She called him her wife.
She called him her wife. That's true because
Yeah.
she says she pays all the bills, so you're my wife.
Right.
He didn't seem to like that very much.
No, he definitely did
It was
not.
a little funny though.
It was funny, but I don't think. Yeah, well, maybe she meant it as funny. I don't know.
No, she wasn't joking.
Okay. Well, that wraps it up for Before the 90 Days. Please let us know who you like, who you don't like. Do you agree with us? Do you not agree with us?
Are we predicting?
We're not doing predictions for this.
Okay,
We're
my
doing
bad.
predictions for Love is Paradise or Love in Paradise. I always get the name wrong. But before we jump into that, did you know that we're also on a podcast right now? Did you know that?
Are we?
Yeah, we just launched
We're
into
podcasting?
on iHeartRadio. We're in Amazon. We're in YouTube Music. Somebody
News
else.
to me.
We're going to be in Apple too. So there are some of you that are listening to this later. So if we do have some graphics, we'll try to describe them for you. But we got a bunch of couples from Love is Paradise to talk about. We finally caught up on the show. First up, we got, I swear,
Who we got?
that's Scott and Lidia.
Okay.
So Lidia, you may remember, was the mother of Pedro from...
The Family Chantel.
There you go. And so how old is she? She's from Colombia. What do we got here? She's 56. Scott is 51. They have been talking through social media for a year, but they had never met. And let's recap what happened with them. So they met. It was a little difficult for them to communicate.
Right, because she doesn't speak English and he doesn't speak any Spanish, and he was having trouble with his service, so he couldn't use his translator app, and he was becoming very frustrated.
Very frustrated. And Scott seems like a very outgoing person. Lidia, I'm not really sure if she's outgoing. I don't think she's very outgoing. I think her family might be, but she likes to yell sometimes. But yeah, so I don't know if it's quite the same vibe as Scott. And certainly not the same vibe as far as like physical affection. So what ended up happening with him is, I guess communication just got in the way, right?
Yeah, communication got in the way. They didn't really seem to have much chemistry, I felt like. I don't think there was much chemistry there. And then he like later revealed he was still in love with his ex, who was from Colombia?
His ex is from Colombia. No, not Colombia. A different country. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, if anyone
it's going to come up. And hello to Monica Jones. We just played your comment, actually.
Hey, Monica.
We just read your comment. So, anyway, what happened is he just thought the communication was too difficult, and he ended up breaking it off with her.
Yeah, so he could talk to his ex-girlfriend, who he's going to fly
20?
into the DR, and yeah, he's going to see how things goes with his ex now.
That's right. Yeah, she is from Colombia. They're in DR. I was mixing those two up. So, and he meets up with his ex, and now that's where we're at with them.
Yes, I think where we left off is he was like saying something about marrying the ex and bringing her to the U.S. and she was kind of like, hold up, pump your brakes, because that's why they broke up the first time. He was moving too fast for her.
Right. So I guess that's really sums it up for them. So that brings us to prediction time. But I don't know, are we predicting with Scott and Lidia or are we predicting with Scott? I guess we do both.
Both.
So let's start off with Scott and Lydia.
No chance.
No chance, right? There's no chance they rekindle or get back together?
No.
All right, so now Scott and this new girl. So we'll do predictions for what's going to happen at the end of the season or beyond. He can make...
No, this is enough. Like, a lot of words. I think it's going to be a double no for Scott.
Yeah, so I think I think it's a double no as well, and I think this new girl who just arrived, I think, is only going to last another episode or two, and then she's going to go on her way. She clearly doesn't want that big commitment.
Right.
All right, so we're on the same page for that one. Next up, we got Juan and Jessica. They're both 29 years old. Oh, there they are. They're both 29 years old. Jessica is from Wyoming, and Juan is from Colombia. They met on a cruise ship, and they fell in love and had a little fling, and then it became more than a fling, and she kept going to see him. Then apparently there was rumors that he might have cheated with another girl because the girl reached out to them. So Jessica went back on a cruise to confront him about it, and they made up, and she got pregnant. And that's where they're at. And then she went to visit him in Colombia, and they had a nice time there. She has 2 kids. She brought them. She brought her friend. Now, Jessica comes from a very small town in Wyoming that she says smells like cow poop. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So, Juan comes from what appears to be like a paradise, right? But he spends 6 to 9 months on a cruise ship, and then lives in this amazing place. So I think that's going to be quite a transition for him coming to Wyoming. But now where we're at is she's going to go visit him on the cruise ship in a couple months, but they've left Colombia and he's going back to work and she's going back home.
And she's pregnant. They're having a baby. They revealed it to her younger children, who one of them was happy about it, one of them wasn't. And I guess there's questions about whether he'll be committed to her while he's at work on the cruise ship.
There's questions about that. There's questions about how he would adapt in a small town in Wyoming.
And whether he's really ready to settle down is also a question. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much their whole story. So it's prediction time.
I'm gonna go with a yes for now, at least for this one, because they have the baby on the way. Like, I feel like he's gonna be try to be as committed to the situation as possible, because he's expecting his first child with her. So I'm gonna go with a yes.
So you're going yes, they're staying together for good, or staying together at the end of the season, or both?
They're staying together at the end of the season.
They'll get married
for good.
They'll get married. Let's just go with that.
Yes, I think they'll get married.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll definitely be together at the end of the season. He's committed at least that much, and he does generally want this to work. You can tell. I just think there's going to be a little bit of culture shock when he comes over, which would probably be on the show 90 Day Fiance. I could see them bringing them back. Him having this guy in that town in Wyoming would definitely be interesting to watch.
Yes.
But I kind of lean towards they'll get married too, but I think we're going to find out next season.
All right, who's next?
Who's next? And Monica Jones says no chance, but I'm not sure if that was for Lidia or for...
it was for Lidia.
It was for Lidia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so if anybody's watching and wants to give their opinions, please chime in. And next up, we got Everton and Jordan. Jordan's from Texas. Everton is from Jamaica. He is 48. Jordan is, I think, 36, 38, something like that. And they've been together for a lot of years, but it's been on again, off again.
I enjoyed watching these two.
Now,
there was something I couldn't quite put my finger on. You know, they were like a little bit complicated, and I couldn't quite, crack the code with these two.
Right. So he runs a boat for Grand Cayman. What does he do? He does tours, right?
Yeah, he does boat tours on Grand Cayman.
So
he's originally from Jamaica,
and that's where Jordan met him. She was on vacation. They met there and just started this whirlwind romance that's been on again, off again. She has since, now where are we at for this season, is she has purchased a large piece of land. Apparently it costs like $600,000, something like that.
Yes.
And he's supposed to be developing this land, and she gave him full rights, full power of attorney rights, which seemed a little foolish to me. I totally understand trusting him to run it and on all of that, but it seems like that might have been a little too much, because this relationship is a little rocky. It's
a little rocky. It seems like, so she pretty much put her whole life savings into what she is saying is their plan for the future, which is this land that they're going to develop on Grand Cayman. And once they get there, they both have secrets. One of his secrets was that he cheated on her. It was like, this was like the most calm confrontation about cheating, and it happened so quickly. Like, it wasn't dragged out. It was like, yeah, you cheated. Don't do it again. I'm sorry.
When they finally talked about it, but what was dragged out is she said, as she arrived in the airport, I got a text and it just changed my whole world. And I think they mentioned that like for 2 or 3 episodes. But eventually, when they talked about it.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, all right, cheated. All right, cool, bye. And then the next thing was, he didn't realize that it's like an OnlyFans type of thing. Like, she wears like lingerie or like skimpy bathing suits, and like I don't even know what she does. There's one.
I saw her sit in cake or something.
Yeah, like she sat on a cake, and I guess she sells these type of visuals to people online who are interested. It's like kinky stuff. So he wasn't aware. She's also a nudist, which I'm sure he was aware of. But yeah, so she told him, that's how I've been getting all this money. I've been showing my boobies, showing these butt cheeks, and he said he felt a little upset about it, but he was like, if it's bringing home the money, then what can I say? So that was all fine and well. I think when things got rocky was when he took her to his family home in Jamaica, and they were with his sister and his brother, and they were and his mother, and they were talking about marriage, and he kind of just wrote it off completely, like, oh no, marriage. I'm not thinking about marriage at all right now. Like, that's the last thing I'm thinking about. And she was hurt because she expected them to get married and have this future together, and, you know, have their investment. But it seems like he has separated the investment from the relationship.
Right. Now, he did say in the interview that, oh, well, now that I know that she wants marriage, I didn't know that was on top of her list. Like, he would consider it, right? But it wasn't something he was considering before.
Yeah, the question caught him off guard.
Yeah, so that's pretty much up to date now. So, prediction. This is a tough one. Let us know what you predict. We want to know.
This one is tough. I think there's some other issues, like with I think he has several children, and his relationship with maybe the children's mothers come up. So I don't know. I feel like there may be some like infidelity issues with him, but he does really seem to care about her. She seems like she really cares about him. I feel like they do have chemistry. So I'm gonna say that they do make it beyond the season.
Do they get married?
I don't think they're gonna get married. Not this season.
But yeah, no, not this season. But will they get married
in the future?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with no.
Okay. I agree. Obviously, there are a lot of issues. I think they'll definitely stay together. I do think he kind of sees her as a meal ticket. I think he likes her too, but I also don't think he's completely faithful and will ever be completely faithful. But I also don't think she that bothers her as much as you would think. It
doesn't seem like it bothers her very much.
Yeah. So yes, I think they'll be together this season. Will they get married? I actually think they will, because that will really solidify his position with her.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do think he loves her. I just don't know if he's going to be 100% with her.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Well, it's their second season with us.
Oh, man, these two. Drama.
Carlos and Valentine. Carlos, 29. Valentine's 47. Valentine's from Colombia, and Carlos is from California, although I think he was from New York the first season, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he moved to California.
And so, what's going on with these guys?
The last thing I saw, they broke up. Yeah, they broke up because
they broke up, but where did it start? So it started out.
It started out with them flying. Like Valentine flew into DR. Is it DR? No.
Flew into Colombia.
Colombia.
Yeah.
Okay, flew into Colombia, and he was there for their wedding. They were getting married. That's why he was there. They were having a wedding. His mother was coming. He was very emotional because his mother initially did not accept his sexuality, and then, you know, she accepted him, and she was coming, and it was going to be great. But the issue is that Carlos wanted one of his good friends to come to the wedding, and this good friend is a woman who he had a very big crush on. So
Carlos revealed that he's actually bisexual, which I don't know. I don't think Valentine knew right away.
No.
So he is bisexual. He did have a crush on this woman. Go ahead.
And the woman wasn't interested in him, but Carlos was very much interested. So Valentine did not want this woman coming to their wedding, because he felt like it was disrespectful. But they had agreed that, all right, he will meet
with her.
He'll meet with the woman and kind of, you know, fill it out, and then maybe she could come to the wedding.
Right.
They got into this big, stupid argument because Carlos was like, well, she's coming to the wedding pretty much regardless. And Valentine is like, oh, well, you don't care how I feel. F you, and then they broke up.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And that's where we're at. And he actually called his mother and said, you know,
we broke up,
and yeah. Which is perfect for prediction time. Will they be together at the end of the season? Will they be married? I mean, they're not even together right now.
Yeah, I feel like they're both, like, hot-headed. Like, especially Carlos, for some reason. Like, he's just very, like, he's not willing to give at all. Which kind of sucks because I feel like they actually had a good chemistry and, like, genuine love for each other. I thought that they could make a really good couple, but yeah, I'm going to go with no.
Not together, not married.
Yeah.
At the end of the season.
That's what I'm going to go with.
This is the first one we're going to disagree on.
Okay.
I think they're going to work out the whole deal. I think he is going to meet Carlos's friend. I think he's going to not feel threatened by her because she's with somebody else anyway.
Right.
I think she might even go to him because remember she said, I don't want to be the reason that somebody breaks up.
Okay.
And in the end, I think they'll get married.
You got some high hopes?
Yeah. Well, I'm predicting everybody is getting married, so...
We'll see. I don't think so.
I just, I love love, so here we go. Next up, we got... Who are these two?
I forgot.
So he's not Valentine. See, we have a Valentine, but he's Valentine.
Yes.
And she's April. She's from Texas. He's from Dominican Republic. He's 26. She's 38.
These two are interesting.
She is a doctor. And
a lawyer?
She has a law degree.
Okay.
But she also owns a bunch of businesses.
She owns several fitness centers, and she started a luxury car business in the DR. She's doing a lot. She has OCD. There's a lot going on here.
And so her car business in the DR brings her to the DR a lot, and that's where they met. And how did their relationship go? What happened here? Well, so
it's kind of hard to say.
Well, let's start with say she has OCD, because that's going to be a big factor in this. Being a doctor, she probably knows too much, which probably gaslights her OCD. She went to visit him, his family. He got offended because she didn't like the cooking, how they cooked. She wouldn't use their bathroom.
Yeah, she didn't want to use the bathroom. She was pretty disrespectful. Like she's used to staying at the resort area and things like that. So he brought her to where he's from, which is in a resort area. It's not all built up pretty and clean. It's more of a
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's more in the heart of the DR, and she was like, "Oh,
it's the real
don't like
DR."
it. She's like, "I don't like it here." She was very judgy. I kind of feel like she may there's something there. Like she may have a little neurodivergency. Like she can't. I feel like she doesn't pick up on social cues. Like she just says whatever.
Right. She's obviously very intelligent. You couldn't do all these things if you weren't, but she's missing another piece.
Yeah, there's something missing there where there's certain social things she doesn't pick up on. So I think he was very turned off by that.
Well, he disappeared for 3 days.
Yeah, he just up and left her.
Now, which was strange was he wasn't replying. He gave a bunch of excuses and sometimes didn't reply.
He had to help his uncle or something.
Right. Right. So at her car, I don't know if you call it a dealership. I'm not really sure what it is. But the person who runs it was her ex, which was
a little strange.
A little odd. And he drove her around to go find
Valentine. And they found him, and she confronted him and was like, "Where have you been? Like, what's going on?" And he kind of was just like, I'm not really feeling you. I don't like how you were acting at my family home.
Right. Exactly.
You acting like you were too good. You was Miss Goody Goody. And she does. She brings all that, all the bougie. She definitely does.
Yeah, no, she apologized for that, but she was also ripping into him for that's no reason to just disappear. I mean, I'm coming to your country to be with you. And
I agree with.
Yeah, you got to face those issues.
Yeah.
So I was on her side for that. Obviously, it's a difficult run, right? Because if you're OCD and you're not used to that, like you can understand where she's coming from, but it is rude.
Yeah, she was definitely a bit rude. But I think that if you have not watched this, these two are definitely worth watching. There was a very funny scene where she was helping his mom cook outside, and they were washing plantain, and like she was just freaking out. It was entertaining.
Yeah. And that's why they're on the cover of the Love in Paradise logo there. So that brings us up to date. So this one's interesting because they clearly have issues, but they've also had loving moments. So what is your prediction?
I don't know. It's so hard. I feel like they may work it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna say yes. They'll be together.
Will they get married?
When? Ever?
Ever.
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm going to go no on this one.
Okay.
I think he's very prideful, and you've seen, and with 90 Day, you've seen a lot of people in the past who have overlooked issues just because they want America or money or this and that. Not to say that that was their only intention, but it was a big part of it. And I don't think that's a big part of it for him. So
no, I don't think so.
So I'm actually going no. Yes, I think this is my first no. I don't know. Oh, well, Lidia. That doesn't really even count. So no on this one for me. So we disagree on a couple here. So
all right, we'll see. Bring it on.
Yeah, we'll bring it back up at the end of the season and see how we did. Next up is Matt and Anna.
Matt and Anna.
Is it Anna or Anna?
I think it's Anna.
Let's go Anna. So Anna's from Brazil. She's 27. Matt is 36 from Texas. We got a lot of Texas people this year. That's 3 Texas.
Howdy, Texas.
So they met because he does a lot of live streaming, I guess, on TikTok or something like that. And anyway, that's how they met. I don't remember a lot about their story, so maybe you can help me out with this one.
Not too much to say there, but I think
we can talk about the secret. The secret he had is he heard from immigration because they applied for the K-1 visa to have her come over, and he found out it could take 2 years. He was talking like it will take 2 years, but they were just saying that's the max. But anyway, he hasn't told her because he was afraid if that would make her run.
Yeah.
Of course, if it's going to make you run, then you shouldn't be together anyway.
The two of them seem like they pretty much, they seem like they genuinely had a connection. It was during Carnival there. She was turned up and ready to party. He was very tired and not ready to party. And he did not enjoy, the men hitting on her. Carnival is, you dress fun and it's a lot of dancing and drinking and very turned up. And he tried to hang in there, but... all in all, I think he had a little bit enough of Carnival. So he goes to reveal to her that, it could take up to 2 years. And she is heartbroken. Come to find out, her dream ever since a little girl was to come to the U.S. And, that's all she's ever wanted. So it kind of makes you question, all right, well, are you in love with him or are you in love with what he could provide as far as
I believe he asked her that question straight up. And she kind of gave both. Yeah, she kind of gave both. I mean, she was honest. Maybe. Or it might have just been America, but at least she didn't lie about that part. Yeah. I think they're going to stay together, though, because I feel like he's infatuated with her, and I feel like she's going to, try her best to get what she wants. So I agree. I think they're going to stay. Now, does that mean marriage, too? Yeah. Okay. I think they're gonna stay together because he is really into her, and she's really into America. Now, what is her benefit of not being with him and trying to go with somebody else? It's not going to get her over there quicker. Yeah. And I think she realizes that the time is what the time is. So I do think they're going to be together at the end of the season. Wait, Monica said, I can't comment on these two. I don't want to be unkind. Oh, Monica, turn up. Be unkind. Yeah, we don't mind if you're unkind. So, yeah, I think they're going to be together. I think she's going to come over, but I do think he's going to start to realize that maybe she's more into America than him. I mean, when she talked about America, she was talking passionately, like it's all I've ever wanted. Oh, and the other thing is, I think when a lot of people think of America, they think of Miami, Los Angeles, New York. Like, that's the dream. That ain't it, y'all. He's in Texas. I don't know where he's in Texas. He could be like in Dallas, a big city or something, but it's not Miami, New York. It's not what they envision, right? So I do think if she goes over there on the K-1 visa and potentially we get a 90-day fiance version of them, I think we're going to see that she's a little bit shell-shocked and might want to go to a move, and he might not be into that, and then it'll open his eyes a little bit. Yeah. That's what I think. So I'm thinking they might not get married. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is all the couples. Did we do them all? Is that possible?
I think we did them all.
I think we did them all. If anybody has anything to say before we wrap it up, now's the time, because I think we've covered Before the 90 Days. We've covered Love in Paradise. Next week, we're going to do updates on Love in Paradise again. We're going to do updates on Before the 90 Days. And I believe we have one more thing going on. What are we doing? Oh, I think we're going to pick our, not favorite, but we're going to pick our ideal 90-day cast. We're going to reveal who, if we could cast 90 Day with anybody who's ever been on the show, who we would put on. So
that's going to be fun.
That'll be fun.
That's going to be hard, too, though.
As I even thinking about it now, I have one person I'm locked in on.
One person or one couple?
Well, that's the thing. You can say a person and whoever they happen to be with.
Okay, why don't you give us a little preview? Who are you locked in on?
Oh gosh, you know what? I don't know if I want to say it or not, but I'll give a little teaser. He is with a new lady right now. That will be my teaser. He is not with anybody from
Sinjin.
Not with anybody from 90 Day.
I think it's Sinjin.
But he's with somebody new.
I do love a good Sinjin.
And
it's Sinjin.
He is a lock to be.
Or is it Asuelu? Oh God, what if it's Asuelu?
It could be Asuelu. I mean, there's a lot
I think it's Sinjin though. I love him.
See, this is going to be a fun one. I know this is going to be a fun one. I'm out because I'm going to spend all week probably looking up cast and figuring out who I'm going to cast. Let us know all week who you would cast. Maybe that would influence us. But yeah, no, he's with a new lady, and you'll find out next week. Thank you for loving our live. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you for listening on the podcast. If you're on YouTube, well, that's the best way to do it. So please subscribe, like, comment. We really need it. Until then, that's it. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, Monica.
See you, everybody.